We live?
We live.
For sure. What's good, y'all? It's your boy 3 Stacks in this thing, of course. We repping the squad. We all did really, really good today. We went to DNA. Like 3 of the top 4 cut were all Team Kings of Games members. We had Ed playing Dark Magicians. Cheeto was playing his World Chalice deck. And I took Pendulum Magicians and just wanted to test the waters with them. Just kind of like deciding whether I really liked the deck enough to play it. I went undefeated today. And I enjoyed myself, but I feel like the deck just, I don't know, it's just not me. Like, it's good and all that, and I'm not knocking it. Like, if you play it, that's cool. You're probably playing to win, but, like, I play to have fun. And while the deck's fun, I just don't feel like it's me. I'm probably going to convert to deck like Zephrys, like, literally tonight. I'm going to convert right back to Zephrys. But shout-outs to one of our subscribers, because the dude, like, gave me a super dope trade, and I got all 3 of my Electromites now. Like, thank God. I had 3 originally, sold them for rent, but let's hop right into the main deck. This package is very similar to what you're going to see in like almost every Pendulum list. And these cards, they go without explaining that you probably have to play them if you want to get the best results for your starter cards. So you play 3 Astro, 3 Chrono, and 3 Cerberus. As I said in my other video, the main problem with a lot of the Pendulum Magician decks that are running around right now is they play a plethora, or we could even say a myriad of starter cards. And my issue with that is, like I said in another video, you want a well balance of high level and mid level combos. You don't want every combo to be an like extremely dedicated commitment of every vast resource that you have at your disposal right now at this moment, turn 1, when you don't even have the knowledge of what deck you're playing and you don't know what they can do through your interference. So when you're committing everything you have to this board you think isn't going to be broken by playing a billion starter cards, you leave yourself with no follow-up play. So the way I played the deck, I played it like 50% gas, and then I stopped. I didn't like stop in the middle of my combo. I would just purposely not throw everything that I had into it. Like I was dedicated to my plays, but if it makes sense, I didn't overcommit turn 1. I only went in game 2 or like turn 2 when I knew that I can like OTK if I'm going second. But turn 1, I wasn't trying to make a crazy board with 1 card left in hand. I wanted to make 2 to 3 negates and leave myself with follow-up of like Scales and Pendulum summonable monsters. So these are your 9 starter cards, and of course you play Dragon Shrine and Ravine. Dragon Shrine and Foolish, so that makes 12 different ways to make Electrum before you Pendulum summon. To me, that's 1/4 of your deck. That's good enough. We're not playing 3 Rescue Hamsters, like 3 of everything that possibly makes Electrum, because like if all your deck does is make Electrum, what is it going to do after you make them, right? All you're going to do is keep making 3 Electrums every first turn, burn through everything, summon all of your fusion guys, turn 1, and then guess what? Turn 2, you can't make any more Electrums because you went through all of them turn 1, and that's the best card in the deck. So like I just think this is good enough. And then
what happens if you get Ghost Reapered?
Yeah, like I'm not worried about Reaper. Like that's the main thing. Like my deck isn't dedicated to just Electrum. It's still a Pendulum Magician deck. We play 1 Jackal King. I would play 2, but it's just a space issue. I like this card just being able to put another negate on board without working so hard. So he's one of the cards that I open up with if I can get to him, or if not, I'll just use my I'll use my Electrum and then bring him out from my hand using Chronograph Sorcerer and just drop him, leave Chrono. And if I can put a Oath Dragon on field, that's Naruto plus him right there. But I'm not trying to do Titanic, like Vortex, all that crap. Like it's a good board, I admit, but if you're playing Dracos, if you're playing just any kind of deck that has a completely different playstyle than what you think they have, and they kill you, you have no follow-up. Or even not even kill you. If they kill your negators but can't OTK you, you can't do anything next turn. So I really like Jackal King a lot. Like he's just one of those resources that you don't have to completely dedicate your entire turn to. But having on field, it's something that your opponent has to play around, and he's a dark spellcaster, so he synergizes with Purple Poison and Black Fang, which is another reason why I was like, 1 has been working out. Then we have Basilisk to recycle your Magicians. Like this card actually came up to put my Oath Dragon back. Because like if you read his skill effect, he literally pops himself, adds a face of spellcaster Pendulum monster from your extra deck to your deck and draw a card. Because only play 1 Oath. So like I used him and then put Oath back, and then Pendulum called back the Oath. Pendulum called the Oath from my deck that I just put back, and then searched out I searched out Oath, and I searched out Black Fang. I already had Harmonizing an extra deck, then used Oath to add Black Fang back. Use Oath to add Harmonizing back, and then I made a crazy board off of that. But I only used 3 of my actual cards that I started my turn with, and I still ended with 3 cards in hand. And my board was decent. It was just the Vortex plus Jackal King plus the Time Pendulum Graph Trap, and I had Pendulum Call, so the trap was more it was more oppressive, and I felt like that was decent enough because I know if they break the board, I can still have a play next turn, and that's how I've been playing. A little bit like not necessarily aggro, but not extremely conservative, but just playing it smart, like old school duelists. Like we know, like we're not about that life. We're not just spitting every card in your hand onto the board. Like we don't do that. Like we don't.
When you've been through a format with torrential tribute legal,
yeah,
you learn
torrential
very
at 3.
quick.
Yeah, like dude, like just come on, chill, calm down for a second, think. Like just stop being greedy. Supreme King Engine. This actually won me a duel against one of my homeboys. James, he was playing a spicy ABC Lightsworn zombie deck, and he went to town on me. Game 2, he opened up insane. Like I didn't draw any of my side deck cards. He opened up Double Omega, Minerva, and he already made Curious. So he did Curious, and then he made Double Omega, and he had Minerva, then he summoned Buster. Like, and he took 2 cards out of my hand. He played through everything. Like, he played through everything I had. He tagged out on standby with his Buster, which I felt was smart because this game, too, I could have a Kaiju, which I didn't have. But he played through everything, and I held this plus my Harmonizing. And, like, this won me the game. Just this plus Harmonizing, like, literally won me the duel. Like, I brought out the Purple Poison. I brought out the Harmonizing. I did the Raigeki. I did the Raigeki, dude. No, I did the Raigeki after I made the Electrum. Because I dropped, I think it was, like, Harmonizing and another card. Because I held him, Harmonizing, and it was, like, I think it was either an extra copy of him or it was just like Magician that I didn't have a use for, or it was probably even this card because I ended up doing the Electrum play, and then I did the Electrum play, I did the Astrograph, and then I brought out my Raigeki dude, blew up his field, and I was able to swing for enough damage. And when we went into time in game 2, he was not able to come back because of the life points being so low. So we went into game 3 with no siding, which basically this guy's like savage, like he saved my life, and he's just like he's the best normal summon. This package is really, really strong. This guy like has 3 insane effects that you can use all in the same turn if you want to. They're like this has to it has to stay. Like if this is legal, I'm playing this in like any Pendulum deck because it's so good, except for maybe Metaphors. Then you have Magicians. You have 3 Harmonizing, 3 Black Fang, 3 Purple Poison, and 1 Oath. I know that Oath is insane, and I actually would be playing 2, but my main issue is if you look at my Magician lineup, I'm not playing Wisdom Eye, right? Because he was breaking on me, not because he's a bad card, but because look at all these engine cards that aren't Magicians. So Wisdom Eye is only good when you have a lot of Magicians in your hand. So when you're playing Wisdom Eye and Oath, you're playing basically a chance that I could draw them with the scale that goes with them, or I can draw them and they'll be a brick. Or, oh, I got Pendulum Call and I didn't get Ash, so these are good. And I didn't want that hypothetical what if and, oh, what if it happens kind of thing going on with my deck. I wanted it to do what it does every single time without the restriction and drawback of just getting lucky because I drew Wisdom Eye plus a Magician, or I drew Oath Dragon plus another Magician. So, like, I just like having him as a searchable target for the Pendulum Call, and I'll just recycle him with the Electrum or the Basilisk, and that's how I've been doing it. I just try to get him out of my deck before I Desires. And then the other bricks that, this one's actually insane. It's, like, actually really good, but because you're doing a lot of things with Pendulum Call and leaving yourself with no scales, turn 1, like I was playing smart all day. Like I never left a complete set of scales unless I had it under Pendulum Call. And if I didn't, I would clear my own scales so that I wouldn't be able to be Wavering Eyes. But he does protect you from that and Twin Twisters. Then the hand traps are just 2 Ash and 2 Dro. If you notice, all the Pendulum Magician players are playing 0 hand traps. And I do think that that is incorrect because if you run into an FTK deck, it'll change your life. And you'll realize that you should have at least played a couple of hand traps. But when you run into Magician FTK and it's a mirror and you play no hand traps, if they go first and they have it, you can't do anything about that. So you're stupid for side decking your Ash Blossom, and you're also stupid. No, not stupid. I feel like I'm being rude, or I feel like I'm coming up the wrong way. Yeah, harsh. You're not stupid. I'm sorry. I take that back. But it's incorrect to say that Ash is a bad card in any matchup. Even in the Pendulum Magician matchup. The way I use my Ash, if they have Astro, Chrono, Mythical Beast Cerberus, or Dragon Shrine, I prefer to Ash one of the starter cards to get into Electrum. Because just by ashing that, those 3 Electrums they would have brought out becomes 2 or 1. And I can deal with that because if they can't make 3 Electrums, the board is not going to be as optimal as it would have been. So I still think Ash is correct. And the Trickstar matchup, if you don't main this, and they have the Joan Lockbird combo, you lose the duel because you don't have Ash. If you're playing FTK decks and they have the combo, you lose the duel. If you're playing Dracos and you don't have Drolls, they can set up with all their floodgates, and you had no way to stop them from drawing the cards. If they open up with it, they open with it. But if they demised into it and they drew it off of Heritage and Disciples, you could have stopped that. But it's up to you. But I mained the 4 hand traps. I was going to do 3 Drolls only, but I was like, I need the versatility of 2 different hand traps at least. And I was like, we're not going to play 3 of any of them because you don't want to open up with 2 of any of them. But if you want to open up with 2, it has to have different names. So that was my logic. And it did justice. If I didn't have Ash, I would have lost against James's Lightsworn deck because I Ashed his Predaplant, discarding for cost. And it was insane. And I also drolled out of his Viewing Hanger Search, which was a previous game. Like, it's good. Like, just having the 1 hand trap. Like, people say you'd rather break a board, right, going second with 6 cards in hand. I say it like this. If they're playing their turn and I have a hand trap, the hand trap makes their board not as powerful as would have been. So, yeah, that extra card would have been handy if you're trying to break the board, but the hand trap makes the board more mediocre and easier to break to begin with. So, personal preference. We'll just say it like that. Personal preference, and we'll leave it at that for the monster lineup. Ooh, I love you. I love you too. A lot of monsters. You know, it's a Pendulum Magician deck. And then for your starter cards, more starter cards. Like I said, balance level of a balance ratio of high level, mid level, kind of cute little hold me down for a turn combos. Not a billion cards that make Electrum and no other good cards. So we're just doing, you know, 2 Shrine and 1 Foolish to start off your Supreme King engine. You're going to see a lot of tools with my spell because I don't want to see 3 of any card that says hard once per turn. If it says you can only activate this card once per turn, I'm not playing 3 of it. Unless it's absolutely flexible, meaning that if I draw it, I can do more than just what its effect says. Like Cerberus is a scale. It's food for your combos. It's food for your Electrum. It's still a good card, right? Even though it's a hard once per turn. The same with Astro and Chrono. They are hard once per turns, right? But they have other effects that allow you to do more than just what they do. Am I making sense? If I'm not, let me know. But that's why I'm not playing 3 Dragon Shrine. That's why I don't play 3 Duelist Alliance. And that's why I don't play 3 Pendulum Calls. Because these are all hard once per turn effects. And if you open up with 2 of them, oh, I can discard 1 with the whole, oh, well, I'm playing 3 of all these cards, but I can just discard the extra Pendulum Call. I main Ash. What if somebody ashes you? Now you got a handful of hard once per turn effects, and you just took a -2. Good luck with the rest of your duel, duelist. I don't think so. Like, I think 2, 2, and 2 is the golden number for me. It's been working out really, really well. This is 3 of the trap, or it's 4 Pendulum Calls. So why play 3 Pendulum Calls? You already got 4. That's good enough for me. You've got a lot of draw power, and you don't need Pendulum Call to win your duels. It's just a win more card. That's all it is. And then for draw power, 3 Allures, 2 Pots. And the only trap we're playing is just the one-time Pendulum Graph. A lot of Magician players are cutting this card. And a lot of them are not playing ways to search it, and some of them are still playing it. I think that one of the main reasons why this deck has still been a thing was because of this to begin with. Electrum kind of changes a lot of things, and, you know, Double Iris not being able to search this kind of like scared people away from it. But I still think when you get hand trapped and you have to make a mediocre board, if it is just Baguska plus trap, it's enough to hold you down. And you can OTK your opponent purely off of Black Fang Magicians. So it's still good. That's the main deck. I wouldn't really change anything. And I love the fact that I have the hand traps for the mirrors, which I didn't play any mirrors today, but I played mirrors at Senpai's, which, you know, it just helps out a lot. Like, when I played that Odd Eyes dude, like, when I had the hand traps, it made a difference because every time I had a hand trap for that instance, I knew that he would not have anything in response for the follow-ups, especially when I'm going off. I was never asking for a response. Like, come on now. Like, if you had it, you would have shown it to me. But 2 Electrum, it's not going to be 3 because it's just not worth the resources. You have 2 extra copies of it in the form of the fusion. I think that 4 Electrum is enough. Duels do not last long enough for you to, like, do that theory. Well, I don't want to go through 3 Electrums in a turn, but I want the 3rd just in case. It doesn't come up enough for me to play 3 personally. I'm not trying to summon 3 of this card first turn because I think this card is good enough to where you want an extra one for your turn 2 push. Or just in general, like when you go through all 3 of this, it was like I said in the beginning of the video. You have no follow-up play. Like, everything that you have is on the field. And if somebody can bait it right and just evenly match or however they want to do it, Spear Mode if they're crazy and they main deck it, they got you and you lost. And you can't come back. 1 Zephyr Metaltron, 1 Borload. I should be playing Underclock Taker, but the extra deck is really tight. So the 4 links. 2 of the Fusion. This card's insane against Dinos. This card is insane. Like, dude, like, I literally used this card to copy an Omega that he brought back his Omega and he linked with it and used the Omega to put back his Predaplant Cobra. And it was because he milled the Cobra off of one of his Charge of the Light Brigade. So it was smart. Honestly, it was smart. Like, he milled the Cobra off of his charge and he used his Omega and it put itself back and put back the Cobra. And the other Omega I killed, I used him to copy the other Omega that was still there. and I took his last card from his hand after I was like pushing and I didn't get enough damage on board. So I summoned this guy in main phase 2 and then took his last card, and he scooped after that, and I realized that the card he had was actually Monster Reborn. And I thought to myself, why didn't he play that first turn? I didn't really like ask him, and I just thought about it. I'm like, you know what? If you held it, maybe you had some mysterious plan that I didn't know about. This card's just good in every matchup. Like this card, if your deck does not have access to an effect, if there's an effect that you're missing out on, he gives you everything. He's any monster he wants to be.
Multiples.
In multiples. Like he's anything. Like if you're playing a deck that's like, oh my god, what kind of boss monster is that? Is that a master penis? Let me copy him and banish my own trap from the grave and pop something. Like anything in grave, bro, he can copy it. He's insane. He should be banned. 1 Vortex, and then 3 of the Synchros. The Raigeki, this is like so powerful. Even if you don't Raigeki, when he kills a monster, he burns for its original attack. Like, he's good. We've got Ignister, which helped me out a lot. Shuffling the Curious. James tried to tell me that Curious still activates because it leaves the field. I'm like, sir, cards cannot activate in the deck, and they cannot activate their effects in the extra deck. So if you're telling me I'm shuffling that Curious into the extra deck, and he's activating his effect in the extra deck, you are totally inaccurate on that. And then 1 Omega, because when you get Chariots, it's always cute to just be like, stand by, put this back, make this guy, copy him, and you still got plays to make. And then for the XYZs, which you play more of those than anything else, you've got Vortex. You've got Absolute. He's Vortex, though. You've got
Baby Vortex.
Yeah, you got Time Star, you got Syphilis, and you've got Nightmare. Now, a lot of things that I want to be playing, right? I want to be playing Tornado Dragon. I want to play Akashic Magician. I want to play Underclock Taker. All these cards that I want to play that I'm trying to find room for. This card would have been any other rank 4, but...
Baguska.
Yeah, like, Baguska's great. Like, I would never cut him. I don't understand why some people don't play him. He beats, like, every deck that's not the Mirror. And sometimes in the Mirror, it depends, because they cut Decode a lot of times. So, they literally have to overcommit to a Zephyr Metaltron just to attack over this guy. And I just think, like, if you're wasting resources just to waste your battle phase in addition to wasting all these resources and attack over Baguska, I'm still winning the duel. I'm still winning right now. But I feel like this guy's good in mirror matches because he literally just puts all of your Pendulum Summon monsters, like, face down immediately. He'll clog your extra monster zone, especially if it's, like, a monster that's not dark. It could be any Pendulum monster that's not dark. You officially cannot fusion this guy by tributing it. So, like, your extra monster zone is basically going to be clogged up until I say otherwise, meaning I'm going to have to kill that for you. But, like, I'm just going to kill you next turn by piercing all of the face down. So that's another interaction that that comes up with the Nightmare, is when you're in the mirror match, when their Pendulum Summon, you hit it and Bukumu and everything, you'll just bring out a bunch of your little guys and maybe a couple big guys as long as he's next to them, and everything has piercing. And obviously your opponent cannot flip summon a monster that was already special at the same turn. So it's like an OTK, and it just says that they cannot play. They can't make any other.
It's kind of like
plays.
The Ultimate Conductor Tyranno.
Yes, exactly. It's just like that. Like literally like that, but except it's a reactive win effect, and it can't miss timing because it's when they special. And it's only good against special summon heavy decks. And even Light Sworns, even ABCs, like if they summon a Buster, it's going face down. Like, if there's no link, you know, it just depends. So, he's good against a lot of decks. He hits things, and BAs just automatically lose. Just, there's no way around it. So, yeah, that's the extra deck. Then we've got the side deck, which there's some spice in here. I already released the goo yesterday, but 2 Raw Spirit Mode and 2 Lava Golem. Now, I have a really good theory for why I play 2 and 2. Because people are smart, and they know that Raw Spirit Mode not only exists, but it actually is played in this meta today, especially against this deck in particular. So what duelists will do is when they're going through their combo, they'll make sure that they do not end with 3 monsters. If they have to make an Omega and use Omega's effect and leave themselves with Electrum plus Vortex, they will do that. And the problem is when you're only playing Spirit Mode and not Lava Golem, you side these in and it's immediately a dead card, and you could lose because now you have to actually play into the board instead of just one card wiping it, right? So I actually side in both of these in the mirror match when I'm going second, because I want to have my options open whether or not I want to think, is this guy smart enough to make Omega? Is he able to make the Omega? And if he is able to, let me Lava Golem that and clear those cards so I don't have to waste any more resources baiting in the gates, right? Or if it's like, okay, this field is crazy. This guy is insane, and he did make Harbinger, Vortex, Jackal King, all that stuff. Let's Spirit Mode it. So keep the options open, and then we still play Kaijus for Masterpiece and for really weird decks that like summon Dark Law and try to kill me. So Kaiju, Spirit Mode, Lava Golem. Would never cut them. This is my goo. It breaks any board. I explained it in the video, but when you play this going second, if your opponent does not negate this, they cannot negate anything else unless they're playing a Paleozoic deck. This is pretty much how it works. I only cite this really in mirror matches and against decks that I know are really aggro and play 0 spells. Like, for example, Cheetos, World Chalices. I know World Chalices don't play traps. So they're not going to have anything set in their back row unless they're trying to bluff, right? So you play this card. Your opponent has 0 sets in his spell or trap zone. None of his monsters can activate their effects, and they cannot attack. But they can still respond to the activation of this skill, right? So if they negate it, it doesn't go to the field, it goes to the grave. You set a spell like Duos Alliance or Allure of Darkness, and you play him back into the scale, and you flip that spell, you use it, and break their board. Because this turns everything off. And what you want to do is keep a balanced ratio, if you notice, like, of good spells like this, so that you can set one and keep your monsters live, but your opponents are turned off. And he's a magician. He's searchable. It's a really, really good card. It's the goo. Everybody's going to start playing it, I'm telling you. Like, and then we're going to hear some stuff like, oh, we've been playing that. Yeah. Dark Hole Raigeki and 3 Evenlies. Only 2 deep areas because the space issue is there. There's another space issue where I feel like Twin should be at 3 because of those side deck staples like Anti-Spell, True Draco, Monarchs Erupt, and crap like that. It's either going to be Twin Twisters or Epsilons if I decide that Gamma is really that important and we do a Gamma Epsilon package kind of thing. But side decks still need some work, put it that way. Like, it's still under construction to this day, and I don't know how I'm going to get it the way I want it. But yeah, that's the deck profile, you guys. I really did enjoy myself, but again, I just feel like this deck it's not me. I had fun, you know, it's cool, but it's not like when I'm playing Heralds. It's not like when I'm playing Invoked. It's not there. I didn't feel like I was playing True Kings, if it makes sense. I don't think that this deck is probably me. Like, I don't think that I'm meant to be a Pendulum Magician player. And at least I'll admit that I'm not going to play a deck just because it's good. I'll play it because I want to play a deck that I love. And we're going to go ahead and just sign out, y'all. Be safe. Make good choices. Don't hurt your brain cells. And y'all definitely just stay tuned for the videos that we're spitting out, regurgitating as quickly as possible.